Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. The images just came out like right before I came on here. That's crazy. So look at that right there. That's the front door. I don't know. Everything just kind of happened really too fast right there. But that's the front door right there. 'Cause that's funny. That's exactly what I was saying. The person maybe went to the front door, had a mask on, and took off the thing. But I didn't think that the camera recorded anything. But apparently it does. I mean, look at this. Right there. And you can see eyebrows in there, you guys. Here, let me try to get all these downloaded. Man, this is crazy. So I guess when they say this isn't a subject, they said that they have a subject. This is the suspect, okay? I mean, it's just so dumb the way they said, well, it's the same as a person of interest. Hey, look does anybody think this is a person of interest? Or is this person right here is absolutely 100% involved in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. There is no doubt about it whatsoever at all. Okay? Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I think he went to the front door, would wear a mask, and they took off the camera because later they'll be coming out the front door. And I think that's exactly because the back door is the one that was jimmied open. Man, this has turned into a crazy story. Yeah, let me update my and we'll look at it in more detail. Let me just update this. I'm gonna put the actual picture on here instead of this blank. That's what there was no image out when I was making this like 10 minutes ago. Alright, just a second. Guthrie. Now somebody like challenged me in my comments yesterday about saying that they go, see, she did attend a different church, you know, and it's like, yeah, but that's not what you were saying when you said attended a different church. You were saying that maybe she went to a different church in town. That's not what she did. They would go to a friend's house. All right. Anyways, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Maybe put that in there. Oops. So that's one of them. Wow, that's crazy. Save as. Man, this is the first sort of big piece of information in a long time. Alright, be just a second here. Just got to change the thumbnail so that people know that there's actually something going on here. What the hell's happening? Hold on. Ah, boy. Oh, there it is. Okay, fine. All right, now we can get back to this. All right. See, now it seems more likely it's a, I mean, we don't know, you know. I mean, this could be a home invasion. Look at, they got gloves on. They got every single thing that you would expect. The mask, gloves, right? So there's absolutely no way that they're going to leave fingerprints around. Now, they could have left DNA somehow by the fact when you put the gloves on, you're touching the outside of the glove while you're putting it on. Now, you wouldn't leave fingerprints, but you might leave some sort of vague touch DNA somewhere. Here, I'll just do it like this. You can get a better view of it. Thanks, Timothy up there. So this might have been something that was on top of the Ring camera covering it. And this is him moving that. But I don't know. How come there's a different angle like that? I think these are different cameras in the house. You know, this one is right here. That's a different angle. It doesn't make sense that this one is outside. And that one's likely the same moment in time. Just kind of turned a little bit more. It looks like he's actually trying to pry the camera off right now. And I don't know, is he hitting it? Don't know what's in there. That's an interesting angle, that one. I see. So right now he's looking at the front door. I see how this is working. Now let's get Enton's video out here. Yeah, this one. Right. So when he walks up, he's just looking at this middle of the door. And then right over here. Why would he do that? That's interesting, isn't it? Why would you be looking at the front of the door? Because if you already knew the house, you'd know right where the camera was, over here. You know, this is where the camera is, and that's where he went in the other shots. Yeah. That's a good place to have it, right there. Right, so he walks, let's go back to the images. So right now he's just standing on the carpet that we were talking about, and I think it's still, even in Enton's image, It's actually, I've seen it in other shots, but the carpet's right there. You see it on the ground. And he's just looking at the middle of the door. Yeah, or yeah, maybe he is looking at the left-hand side. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. So he's probably seeing if somebody's... You think that he's looking to see if the other person's already in there? Maybe. You know, maybe he's got a secondary person and he's looking to see, or maybe he did ring the doorbell and she came to it and he's waiting for her to come. Or he's just looking to see if anybody's looking at him, and then he's going to remove the camera. But maybe he's waiting for his accomplice, if there is one, to come out. Yeah, that makes sense. Looking through the side there. Seems like you would just go right up and remove the doorbell camera first, right? It's just ridiculous. Like on Fox News, they said, "Oh yeah, they're going to release an image of a subject," and then they said the subject's the same as a person of interest. Put a 1 if you think this is only a person of interest. This person right here is responsible, in part, for the abduction of Nancy Grace. It's just like in the Delphi case. Hey, we'd like to talk to the person walking on the bridge. Well, they had video of the guy, following the girls, telling them to go down the hill, etc. They knew that. This is not a subject or a person of interest. This is... They haven't... Oh, yeah. And remember how their wording was? We haven't identified a person of interest. Okay, so they have a person of interest, or a suspect, but they haven't identified him yet. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, it wasn't... maybe it's not what I was thinking, that they've identified people of interest, but they just aren't identifying them to us. But maybe that's exactly what they're saying. Yeah, this absolutely 100% is the, either the killer or kidnapper or whatever situation we have here. Since there's all 3 of them are right there, this one seems like it's in the same spot. Here, let's see if we can get anything out of this image. Well, I don't know who it is, and it still could mean that there's somebody else. They've had these pictures from the get-go, right? They went over and are taking pictures over at the brother-in-law's house, or the son-in-law's house. And so the thing is do they think they're connected in some way, etc.? I guess we don't know. Or maybe they think that's him, or thought it was him. But look, there's no way to prove anything, because this person, this is about as well protected as you could possibly get as a criminal. You have a balaclava on with just eye sockets and mouth. You're wearing gloves that you're not going to be leaving fingerprints, a full body suit, basically. It's crazy. So this could be the robbery gone wrong, except why the hell would you... Here's the thing, is why did you remove her from the house? That doesn't make any sense. You took the time there to get her out of there. If she's injured and knocked out or something, would be very difficult. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that's this arch right back up in there too. Hard to say. Or is that a whole different spot? Oh, there's a video? Where is it? Did you send it to me, Lisa? God, telling me it's out doesn't help if you don't. You gotta send it. Then we have it, right? Just send it and say, "Great, I sent you a video." You know, it's instead I now have to go look for it. I have no idea where it is. Maybe it's on the Facebook page as well. I don't see it there though. Okay, well, I don't have a video. Nah, I don't think he's trying to cover the camera with weeds. He removed the camera. People are already colorizing shit. I don't know. I don't know where to find it. Sorry. If you can send me a link to it, that'd be great. We do have the still frames. I don't think it's to hide his face while getting... I think this might have been something, you know... who knows? You know? I mean, he doesn't need to hide his face. He's got a balaclava on. I don't know if he has a firearm. Okay, good. Good for them. I don't have a video. Maybe I can turn the... Maybe I can try to do... I don't know. I actually don't know how to do this. Okay, you sent it. Okay, thanks. It just doesn't... When people go, hey, there's a video! It doesn't help me at all. Try to be proactive. All right, let's see if we can get the...
This morning on the download, here's a look at what's trending now. Singer Chapel Road says she left her talent agency because it... $351-4900. Again, that is from Savannah Guthrie posting these images for the family on her Instagram account. Brianna, can I ask one more question to you? The FBI says that these images were recovered from what they called residual data located in back-end systems. Can you translate what does that mean and why did that take this many days?
Maybe he did go. Maybe he did go get a. Maybe he does go get a plant. If you got to watch the video, it just seems crazy.
These systems and technology.
Maybe he wasn't going to remove it. He was just going to cover it, but then he couldn't. So then it didn't stick. So then he just broke it off.
Does get saved on servers that Nest, or owned by Google, keeps. They don't keep it indefinitely. They'll keep it for a short amount of time, typically for these exact reasons. But they don't just turn it over. If somebody asks, you have to get a subpoena, which takes time. It has to be submitted to Google. It has to be processed. I mean, even with a rush, that doesn't happen right away. They have so many images. Their servers are gigantic. There's so many requests. So
does he have a flashlight in his mouth?
It does take a couple days. I mean, I think there wasn't a lot of hope that they were going to be able to get anything, but I'm glad that this was successfully recovered.
Okay.
Wow. Crazy.
Apologies, I was talking with someone in the control room. Brianna, thank you so much for your perspective. Really appreciate it. And stand by with us. I want to bring in NBC News law enforcement analyst Jim Cow.
I guess he tried to cover it with the plant. That's just crazy. So this, all these things that we're seeing right here, make it seem more like they weren't as prepared as people think, other than the fact that they're wearing gloves and all this stuff. You know, he goes up there and he sees, oh, there's a camera, but he can't identify him. And maybe, but he might already know that he's going to be taking her out the front, but then, and that camera is static, it's not part of the door. But man, to sit there and go, let me see, do I have a plant? You know what I mean? Like, oh gosh, is there a plant that I can put over the top of this? Yeah, we've already said that, Karen. Yeah, we just watched him pick it up.
And it's an identifiable backpack. People will be able to tell the agents the make and model and so forth, but it's chock full. So it's interesting on that point. Maybe there's some food in there too, because they were going to secrete her, you know, take her to some remote location and planning on feeding her or feeding themselves. It's very interesting. The gun is in a position we call appendix carry. It's a very common position to carry a semi-automatic pistol. This is a semi-automatic pistol in an appendix carry position in a holster. This is a right-handed guy. That gun is not drawn from the left hand. It's drawn by the right hand. And I think what they, you know, the command post would behoove them to go to ATF's firearms technology branch. They're the world's foremost experts on firearms. They have 8,000 firearms there in their laboratory, and those experts can identify that pistol from close-ups. So they'll be able to look at that and you know, be able to say, if anybody can, what kind of what kind of a pistol that is. They can look at the magazine, the end of it, the way the handle
got the holster right in the front.
Slides up. They'll be able to tell, I'm sure, if they can get that picture blown up or enhanced. His behavior, and you guys are exactly right, he picks up some brush. He's trying to hold it in front of the camera. When he rips the camera off, he kind of tries to bang it with his right hand or shield his face. I noticed on the fourth still image, when they're shown in a row there, the still images, that it looked to me like when his face is shown that you might have a mustache. If you look at that still image, you know, when the stills were first released, the shadow is going across his face. You can clearly see the shadow. It's above his mouth. And yet, when you look through the hole in the mouth, it looks to me like he might have a mustache. Now, it's not definitive, and it's not enough of a close-up and enhancement, but I think they can do that and look at that because, you know, when you look at it, you think, well, could that be a shadow? Well, the shadow's not there. The shadow seems to be above
even got
there.
the little,
so that's something I would look at is,
you know, the spot
could there be
above
a mustache there?
Your lip open, that's what that is.
And I think it was Tom or Jonathan who said it looked like he was wearing multiple gloves. I agree with that. I think he probably has some.
Yeah, so that looks like, right there, that probably is a mustache. And the thing is Annie's husband's mustache, at least in the pictures, is way thicker. I mean, it's hard to tell the thickness, I guess, but when you look at pictures of him, it goes past the upper lip a little bit. So, don't know. Yeah, some of the other ones look shorter. Alright, the flowers in his hand were blood at the door. Yeah. Let's see. There's a bunch of flowers on the ground right there. Or if that's the same thing, but it looks like when he was trying to put it there, it's kind of brittle and just sort of broke. These things right there. We don't know. When you say it's on top of the blood, we don't, it's not, you know, it's just there. Okay. You can't tell me it's on top of the blood or anything like that. Yeah, she hadn't been removed from the house yet. And even in those images, you don't see any blood in the video that they just released. So this was there when he tried to put it up there to block it, and then later this is out there. You can't really compare teeth on something like that. Hey, thank you, AJ Felt. Yeah, well, if he has other gloves, maybe he put some gloves on. The problem is you always have to touch something with your bare hands first. So to put one set of gloves on, you'd have to touch that. And then I guess after it might make it very minimal if you have another set of gloves on top of another set, because then the second set. Oh yeah, people were talking about this Amazon. That's the delivery when she wasn't there. Nah, I don't think it means he entered through the front door. I think it means that they know that they're going to be exiting from the front door and went around to the back and broke in and then exited the front door, and they make sure the camera wasn't going to be working. But it's the camera was working somehow in the front on some weird residual stuff. Did they have other, quote, residual video on the other cameras that weren't disconnected? You know? Hey, thanks, user Z18. I'm thinking he's waiting on other I think somebody sent in like a $20 super chat, but I can't see their name. You know who that was? Earlier? It just kind of didn't work. It didn't show up on my system on the side over here. So whoever that was, thank you. I would have liked to have been an investigator. I mean, I guess I try to back engineer cases, you know. I mean, it didn't make sense when somebody told me, so there's the same stuff and it fell to the ground. They'll probably know if any of that fine misting from the expirated blood is on any of that the weeds, but when you look at the video that we were just watching, or these images right here, let's see, how do I get to the next one? Guess it's not doing it. Hold on. It's those, and see, there's no blood there. There's no pool of blood or anything. But I don't think. Let me look at it. Yeah. Okay. So see the front here, the mat on the ground, and there's one tile. I think these are 1 foot tiles. 1 foot, and then there's one more tile here, which goes to the edge here, right? So there's one tile and then a second tile. So what we're looking at in this one is, this is the first tile right there. All right, you guys with me on that? That tile right there is the one that you can barely see part of it. So it's right down there. And then this is the second tile right there. So that's the second tile in, and you can see the edge of the mat goes right to the second tile. And that is in this photograph, or the video that it's in. It's right there. See, one, and then the edge of the second one's there. Now see, there's a big pool of blood. You know, that's the coughing, the drops and everything. They're all over on this area here. See that? Let's just stop it right there. See that? And then we go back to this picture, and that's not there. Okay, there's no blood droplets or anything. So this was all done. What he's doing right now is before Nancy was ever outside in this area. That makes sense? Hey, thanks, Marine Co. up there. I'm looking for a response. Do you guys see what I'm saying? This square right here is the one next to the wall. This is the next one out. There's no blood on there. That means this was done before. Now, somebody said a minute ago that the blood was on top of it, and that's just not true. It's not what's happening. I know, it's sort of strange how this looks like a... last night on our poll, the one that had the biggest one was a hired hit. And then all of the ransom stuff was a red herring. That one won. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's got on a pair of New Balance. I don't know. It does look like they're kind of like, I don't know, from that angle, a running shoe or something. And here's the thing. This guy here knew... I guess I can't call him a guy. Maybe I have to say, you know, could be a she that's identified. I'm just kidding. I don't really you give a shit. This is a dude. All right. So, this guy knew. He didn't know that camera wasn't working. I mean, he didn't know. Like, he came here knowing that he's going to have to remove the camera for stuff that's happening later. All right? Yeah. So it's not like somebody knew that these cameras weren't working. Apparently they worked. Some residual video somewhere where maybe it stores a little bit of something. Pretty weird. But he was trying to block it first. And that didn't seem to work for him. And then he removed the camera next, obviously. So why do you think he did that? It's pretty interesting. You know, it makes me think this guy isn't aware of the property as people. Hey, look at it's mag. Isn't aware of the property as well as you know, maybe we previously thought. All right, let's see. If any other people have sent me the video. Let's see. Okay. So Savannah posted on Instagram. We believe she's still alive. Bring her home. Okay. So maybe after a while, where they believe the ransom notes, now they don't believe the ransom notes anymore. Okay, so the way she was wording it, they believed that she wasn't alive, etc. Send her body home. We just didn't want to pay, etc. And maybe that's not something they believe anymore. I don't know. What do you think that gun holster is made out of right there? Like nylon or something? It looks pretty like a soft. If you guys want, why don't you go out and try to find that that type of holster right there? That might be an interesting element. It's got looks like the part where, you know, the barrel goes down, and then up here, and then it looks like it's got two segments on it, like dark here. I bet you, yeah. Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI. Yeah, so here's the thing. We know that this door here was the one that was broken into. Obviously, that wasn't broken into first. That'd be stupid. So that means they came up here first, disabled the camera, and I think they didn't even know, they just went up and looked, and somebody noticed in here that maybe he looked to the left through the little glass pane there to see if anybody was in there, and then went and got some grass to try to put over the camera because probably noticed it right then. You'd think you would have that planned out. This almost seems like somebody showed up here for the first time, even though it doesn't, and we're told about various things. Because why would you go there and go, okay, ooh, is this grass going to work? Okay, that doesn't work. It seems like you would have it planned out. Okay, you have to email me the link, Lucid Extreme. Okay, you can't post links on YouTube in the chats because then people would be spamming stuff. All right, there's my email. If anybody has a link to the video, if you can find it on the FBI site, that would be great. I want the original video somewhere instead of watching it. The stream version is, oh yeah, so they have more of it too. Like he's got his head down. He definitely has a flashlight on his head. Kind of moves like a little bit more like a younger person though. So it's on X. Okay, I'm going to go to Fox News. I think that's where it is. Hold on, I'll show it to you. Okay, there it is, I think. Wow, that's way clearer. Look at that. Jesus. They have a whole bunch of different clips. Looks like he's trying to open the door there. Looking for the little bit of grass. Man, that looks a little bit older the way bending over and stuff. So they're showing it up there. Watch, house. No, that's not it. Where are they showing this? They have another video up there. It's on Fox News. Now let me just go to their page.
This is after he was at the door, I believe.
They have one where he's kind of bent over and walking. It's different. That's so crazy. They're actually showing their own Twitter video and on their feed, and it's not there. Maybe it's this one. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's when it wasn't working. See, this feels like they didn't know what they were actually doing when they got there. They knew about the house, so they get there, and then they're like, and hey, when you get there, the front door does have a camera on it. And when he got there, he wasn't sure what he was going to be doing. Oh, it's on Cash Patel. Oh, that's sweet. All right, let me just go to there. Thank you. Yeah, that one. That's crazy. Look at that's a different look. That's the other one that they're showing. See, right there, he had a light on, and then he put his head down. He didn't want to be seen, weirdly, because he's got, and you can definitely see the gun on this one. So there's that one. troops. Yeah, that's a light in his mouth, right? He's literally holding it. But hey, if you guys are out there and you want to help support the channel, get some channel memberships, etc. Last night our channel was able to donate $500 to RAIN out of the income to the channel. RAIN is Violence Against Women. And that's what, when you guys are supporting the channel, we try to donate thousands of dollars every month, as well as survive as a channel. So they had a Nest camera. Yeah, I think it was. They said that they found it in some remnant somewhere. Hey, look at that. Like, Virgo Alex. Thank you. Something about that video is just really weird to me. I think they just got these little clips too. Like, this is what they got. It's nothing, it's not continuous. But isn't that just weird looking, you guys? That one's creepy. Head down. Doesn't want his face seen, but why would you care when you've got your damn... Or you're trying to adjust your height. That's what they're doing. They're trying to avoid having a height detected. And they're sort of hunched over in a place that would be able to, by using that arch and the height, you'd be able to detect how high he is. Maybe that's what he's doing. What else is he doing? He's got a mask on. He doesn't need to hide his face. Hey, thanks. PJ Rocker, and welcome Christy B, and thank you Jareth King. All right, who's actually a female, by the way. Here, maybe I should record some of this stuff. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Where's the full long video on his? Somebody said they sent that. I'll see if I can. I don't think so, because she didn't pay her bill. It wasn't really even active. Apparently this is like some residual video that they got. That's just sort of in there. Okay. Okay, let's see. Got the link. So that it's there. So one of these. That's a different shot there, though. That's one. That's not even the same. So isn't that interesting? Like, that isn't even the same as when he had his head down. So was he like walking back and forth and doing things? You see what I'm saying? Or is this a different day even? Well, yeah, where's the backpack? Jesus. And by the way, where's the gun in the back? This is a different time right here, you guys. This shot right here is not at that moment. This is a different time, and I would say it's after. You know, and he's probably at the front door. And you would think, though, I don't know, though, because the camera was disabled. What the hell is this? Hey, thanks, Miss Giss. Thank you, Charlie-Ann. It doesn't look like a different person to me. Could be, though. I mean, look at it's got the same balaclava, the same, I think the same jacket. Let me go look at that again. jeez. What's going on with this? You guys, can you guys still see me at all? Or let me close that down and reopen that. It froze for some reason. Probably so many people watching it. Alright, so there's this little line there. I don't know if, I think that might be part of the backpack. Although you can see it right there. So it looks like everything else is the same. Shoes, pants, jacket, hat, balaclava. See? But look at how the backpack's missing. Yeah, you can't see me. I'm showing you guys a full screen so you can see everything in maximum clarity. Hope you don't, it doesn't bother you. I know that I'm so stunning that, you know, it's nice to have me on the screen at the same time. But yeah, it's interesting that I don't see the backpack shoulder straps. So that's the problem there. You see, those right there would absolutely show in this shot right here. Do we agree? Do we all agree on that? I wonder if that's a different day. Doesn't have the gun there as well. No, I said that you can't see it. I said that a minute ago. See, there's no gun. The gun is not in the same spot. There's no shoulder straps. He has the same gloves on. So, but here's the thing, though. It seems like in that video, he was taking the time. I guess we don't know that he tried to. He might have given up. He couldn't cover it, and now maybe he's going back there to remove it. In this one, disconnected. So that would mean he was there a lot earlier. And by the way, well, I guess you're not going to break in into the house. Let's see, 147, the front camera. So they could have already been in the house. Let's say at 1:30 even. It'd be nice if they gave us a time frame with this, right? What are you talking about, Karen? You're always just... Come on, slow down. All right, anyways, right here you got that. Let me just think through it the way I do it. Okay, that's one I want to record right there. Yeah, there's no backpack or gun, right? Weird. What's he doing with that hand? He's like trying to block the view or something. Well, now that there's video out in this case has turned into, it was already huge. It's going to be 10 times. And you're going to hear all kinds of conspiracy theories and people identifying just every little detail and pretending it means this and this and this and this. Right. So he was probably struggling with it. So then he goes over and I guess, well, he grabbed that and he tried to put it on there in one of the shots. The headlight? I think those are just lights from another house over here. It's high. The street's right over here, down low. He just couldn't get it to stick. I mean, doesn't that just sort of seem rookie? I mean, that's a weird thing to be trying to do there. To put some weeds over the light. I mean, I remember seeing the video and wondering what those little, like, pieces of grass were for. you know, that were in the video that Enton had. This one right here. Like, I didn't know what this was. You know, did that come from a struggle? But it looks like they were trying to put it over the camera. It's crazy. And so all of this happened later. The blood, it came later. All right. So again, if you're new, if you're just getting here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. So in one of the photos here, this one even, you can see this tile is the one that hits the house, the one that's only got about a eighth of the, or you know, a fifth of the tile showing. And this one is the second tile from the house. If you go to Enton's video, this is the first one. And this is the second one, and there's blood in this one. If you go back to the photograph here, there's no blood in this one of any kind. So this is obviously, I mean, it's obvious that this is before Nancy, just because she would be, like if you did knock on the door, she'd be coming to the door after this. But they broke in through the back door. So how do we jive all that? So they broke into the back door. Maybe they were in the house for a while. You know, interestingly, this part here could be 30 minutes after they got there. If you think about it. Except, why wouldn't you just go out the front door? I mean, it's just so weird. God. That one, he doesn't have the backpack on or anything. So is that them earlier? And they came and looked, and then now they're ready to go. They put their backpack on, they put the gun on, and they're heading in. And then maybe that's exactly what we're looking at. That it became go time at that moment. This one right here is intriguing. It's almost as if this one is like 1:30. Let's go with that. Let's do this one. This is 1:30 right here. He goes up to the house. He doesn't have anything on him. He's not doing anything yet. He's just looking. He's kind of surveilling. He sees the camera. Then he goes back to his car, and now he's ready. Puts the backpack on. So somewhere else, somewhere in the background is a vehicle, probably, with a backpack, and maybe it looks like he could be covering the gun, but he doesn't have his backpack with him. And he could have put the backpack over there. And then he goes to the door after retrieving the backpack, and that's when he disables it. And then he's just doing that for later because his car is over here. And then he goes around to the back and breaks into the house, and you know, that's when things happen with Nancy in there. And then later they go out the front door. Maybe there could be a second person here. They go out the back door. They go into the back door, but then they go out the front door, and she's already been hit in the nose or something, is bleeding, and that's why we see the expirated blood spatter as they're exiting. Well, I've said that I think this might be a hired hit, and that the I thought it was like either a hired abduction for ransom, a hired hit, that or the one that I land on the most was a hired hit that they used the abduction angle as a red herring for a ransom that they were never going to try to get. Well, it looks like the gun's in a position where he'd be right-handed. See, it's like right over there. I mean, you can see it in that video there. Hold on. Yeah, that's not the greatest one. I think when he turns around after this, you can see it. See? It's right there, and the handle, the grip's facing to the left, so I doubt he would reach over with his left hand and have to rotate it. Although, you know, if they were being clever, they might. But he also uses right hand to do different things, but you might put one on that's backwards just to throw people off, you know. Yeah, let's see what he's doing there. So he's probably trying to grab that handle on the door. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but this video here is the one that's the weirdest to me. Don't you feel like he's ducking intentionally in this one to avoid height analysis? Because if he was standing there and you knew the height of that arch, you could just go draw a line straight up and go boom. And that would show, like, absolutely thinking about something. Because what else is he doing there? He's got a balaclava on his face, right? I mean, it's not like he needs to cover his... Oh, I got to keep my head down. I don't want to be seen. He's completely hidden here. So he goes, does this way crazy little arching thing. How about that other one, though? He's standing close to it in this one. Man. That's one that FBI could come up with something for sure. Because you'd have to, you know, you could go from right here, and then using, you know, whatever they kind of math they use, you could probably extend it out, and they could figure out generally how tall he is just from that picture right there. And in fact, all you have to do is put a camera right in the same spot, have some people standing with their foot, just various people in the same exact spot with the foot there, and then measure the distance between there and here, and try to get somebody. And if it's not, if they're a little higher, you can just go, oh, okay, so they're about 5, you know, whatever. You could just use, if you could put a camera exactly where it was. I don't know how easy that would be, though. Like, you could just put the same exact model onto the same portion, and you'd be really close. Oh, it is kind of like that Jonathan Clark, yeah. That guy that would show up to the, that sort of pops in my mind sometimes when I think of this stuff. I mean, you know, the other day when I said that he probably had a mask on, that's exactly the case that popped into my head. Didn't we even bring that up on the show? Let's see, he can change his appearance faster by shaving after, not before. Oh, yeah, right. Hey, thanks. How do you say that? Danielle. Danielle. That's a cool spelling. Or is it something else? Danielle, yeah. Hey, thanks, Paul Ayers. Days like today are why I watch your channel. Hey, cool. Other than that, forget it. It almost seems like you know those pen lighters or pen lights. That's what his hand does, but there's nothing in his hand there. You know, it's weird. It's like he's trying to block it. And let's see, does he walk normal? Oh, they might have that. God. That one, though, he just looks like he's bent over on purpose. What are you doing here? Yeah, I know the light's in his mouth. Yeah, we said that 5 times already. Let's see. Candace? Yeah, I just said they can estimate his height. Yeah, we just went over that for like 2 or 3 minutes. He looks short. It looks like a mini light with a pressure switch in his mouth. Right, it seems like he can bite it. That's what I was thinking earlier. See, right there, it's probably in his mouth right now. And he, you know, was able to turn it off with it in his mouth. No, I didn't say that, Steve. I didn't say it was in his hand. I said he's holding his hand like he has one of those lights in his hand, but he doesn't have it in his hand. Did you not hear that part, or you just hear what you want to hear? Hey, thanks, Gloria Batari. I was just saying the way he's holding his hand is exactly how you'd hold your hand if you had one of those pen lights in your hand, but he doesn't have one in his hand. Oh, Jesus. It's like, see that? That's exactly how you would hold it. Like, you'd hold it like that with your hand, you're kind of curled up. When you say it was planned out clearly, I don't know. I mean, parts of it were, obviously, but don't you think it's weird that he tried to grab a bush, a plant, and put it on that? Maybe it gets a little strange. Yeah, and he's got a gun on him. I mean, if he was so well planned, he gets there and he goes, maybe I can put a plant on the camera. Boy, that's going to work. You know, I bet that works really good. And then he goes, oh, shit, that doesn't work. Right, it's a light in his mouth. I mentioned that right at the beginning, that he's got one the light in his mouth. What I was saying is his hand looks exactly how it would look if you put one of those lights in your, like right there, see that? But there isn't one there. So what is he doing? Is he just blocking the camera, etc.? It does make you think he didn't know that there was a camera there. Or perhaps he was aware of a camera and he was just going to take care of the situation when he got there. But he didn't know, but he was like, oh, hey, is this going to work? I don't know, you just think that you'd have something like that planned out. Maybe he didn't know what was going on with the camera. Is it sort of inside the house and he needs to cover it? You know, he wasn't really sure, and eventually he disconnected it. I just don't know, but it doesn't sound like he had that part planned very well. Can we all agree with that? Yeah, maybe he was trying to hit it or something. Yeah, that makes sense. Come on, Steve. You know what I'm saying, right? Yes. Yeah. Maybe, I think it'd be cool if somebody could go find whatever the holster is on that one. So that looks like a pretty identifiable holster. Yeah, it's weird. Like this part here is like, yeah. How about I just pick up some of that? Maybe that'll work. Didn't work. Yeah, we know that she went out the front. Yep. Yep, we know there's an Amazon package on the ground. Yep. And it doesn't look like the Amazon package is on the ground here. Although I don't know in the video. Let's see that. How can you tell what he looks like? He looks very Mexican? How can you tell that? Because he's got a mustache on? Yeah, so that's a better shot of the door. Definitely try to unscrew that. I think there's still some video that they haven't given us yet. So they must have footage of him removing this, or you would think they would. Not sure. See that right there? See, there is a Amazon package right around that corner. Okay, now you don't see that in any of these videos, so that wasn't sitting there. See right there? That's where the Amazon package would be. Yeah, well, you would think there'd be more to come. And then, see this guy right here? What if he shows up wearing the same... He doesn't have the backpack on, but he's got the sweater, the pants, and maybe he... Well, I guess if... I tell you what, if he went into a store, they'd say, hey, look. They'd show the picture of his face, you know. No, the Amazon guy didn't come back. He's not the killer. I mean, he dropped off a package later, you know, the next day or whatever, right? Is that right there a logo, or is that just a stitch? Hard to tell. I'm going to record all these in order again. Let me go all the way back to all the photos. Okay. Start here. Then we can bring this in and try to zoom in on things if we want. That one's one of the more interesting images. He does not have his backpack on, and at least the gun is covered at this point by the jacket. I see. He's got the light in his mouth on that one. I think he has it in there the whole time. Is that what criminals do, Steve? Put it in there and they bite it to turn it on or off? Yeah, Amazon delivers every day, all the time. It's not relevant to the case. Amazon. You can take that to the bank. Alright, so that was it. Alright. What does that mean? Does he pray? Who? Thank you, Samantha B. Do you mind doing a quick recap? I'm sick with the flu, was sleeping, and missed update. Did FBI release video? Yeah, they released these images, and then Kash Patel put out all these videos on his Twitter. And so I think that's where everybody's getting these. This is the suspect. It's not even the suspect, everybody. This person right here is the one of the people, if not the only person, responsible for what happened to Nancy Guthrie. That's this person right here. Gray, how do you know there wasn't just 2 incidents? I can't even do it. I can't do it. Like, this is some other thing that happened earlier, and then later another random killer went into the back. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, this one is the one who did it. It's not like, oh, hey, we're still trying to figure out what's happening here. With the flashlight in their mouth, that's DNA transfer to the gloves, along with anywhere. Well, I guess what if he put the in his mouth first, and then it never leaves his mouth? The flashlight touches. If it was placed anywhere externally, yeah, yeah, exactly. But I would think he would have. See, if he has it in his mouth, and then he takes it out of his mouth. If he just grabs the end, though, he might be safe. But if he grabs it and somehow saliva gets on the glove and he puts the camera in his pocket, and then inside the house he touches anything that transferred the saliva that was on his glove now, that would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? So that's a good point there. And yeah, all I was mentioning earlier about regarding this shot, I think it's this one. It's just like the way he's holding his hand reminds you of how you would hold your hand if you had a pen light in your hand, and you kind of, it's hard to do it. You know, when you go like this, you would go like, you sort of be peering around, looking through it like that. That's how he's holding his hand, but there's nothing in his hand. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, you guys probably want the full one's better. You can see it better. That's what I was saying. Okay, no problem, Steve. I didn't want to make. I wasn't trying to make you feel bad. I was just saying, hey, that's not what I was saying. But it's crazy, isn't it, you guys? Wow. I mean, it's just ramped this sucker up 1,000-fold. And which was already, this is the biggest case of the year so far. Might be the biggest case of the year no matter what. And now they put video out, and whenever there's video put out in cases, it's exponential how much more people get interested, because everybody feels like you can dig in and find something. So now that we've pretty much recorded everything, maybe I can go over to Premiere here. Let me make a new sequence. And then we'll put in the... Okay. Let's see. Take that one. I'm going to put it in Nancy Guthrie's folder on today's date. Alright, here we go. Mismatching warning. This clip does not match the sequence setting. Yeah, change. Now we can bring this in and try to zoom. Let me get rid of my audio, my voice from that. All right, there we go. Yeah, how creepy is that picture just in general? That's probably one of the creepiest pictures you could ever... I mean, if you were just making a creepy picture, that would be the one, right? Like, hey, AI, make the creepiest picture you could ever come up with. Look at that thing. He doesn't have... We can't see the gun on him, and it almost looks like it's not there because his holster hangs down way lower down there. So there's no shoulder straps. So this is at a time that isn't, you know, it's within minutes of the time where he's at the front door, but it's not the same instance. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? And it's weird how you can't even see the eye holes in the balaclava. It's almost like it's a total... You know, it's just the way it looks. This is what happens in video. Don't go, hey, that's a whole different... You know, it's just the way it is. You know, there's too little light. The video codecs just kind of fills in the blanks, and that's what happens. And that's not... It's not. I just explained that to you. It's not. It's the same one. See, look how you can just barely see it anyways. Here, look. See, even this one. See how little you can see? That's the same thing. There was just too little information for the camera to pick up in that low lighting. See that right there? You can almost not see any of the holes on the balaclava or anything, right? Yeah, they look like the gloves. They're really thick. They almost seem like leather or something. I don't know. I mean, it does look like rubber too, but they're so thick. Yeah, maybe he does have something on underneath. They don't look like just regular latex gloves. These look like, you know, something that's much thicker. What do you guys think? Hey, Bruce Holdaway. How's it going? Hey, 8675309. You're a clothing expert out there. Why don't you, what's going on here? Thank you, Timothy Cecil. So he was trying to... So what we have so far, you guys, we have an image of him where he doesn't have a backpack on. It's just a still frame. There's probably a video associated with that. Hopefully it'll be given out too. He seems to go to the front door, look through the side pane, and then he's noticing that there's a camera there that he's got to deal with. But it doesn't seem like he's prepared to deal with the camera. He sort of makeshiftly goes over and tries to get some debris you know, grass off the side over there. And then he goes over and he tries to set it on top of the camera to block the view of the camera. And that didn't work either, so obviously he settled on removing the camera or disconnecting it at some point. So it didn't seem like he was overly planned for that element, as 86753 and I were saying earlier. All right, here we go. I mean, that's probably the second creepiest still frame in the history of the world. I mean, look at that thing. Jesus Christ. You know, so you can see in there eyebrows, right? It's not like, you know, Koberger, but I guess we don't have a picture of Koberger. So that one's really light, bright right there. Yeah, let me look at the son-in-law. I don't know. It seems more bushy. See, I don't even know if he was there. That's the thing. I just think this might be a hired hit of some sort. And maybe they told him something like, "Hey, yeah, there's a camera on the front door," and he goes, "Okay, I'll deal with it." And his first thought was to put grass on it. Genius. I mean, what frame isn't creepy? Look at that thing. There, let's try to... See, I wish I had the original video, because that still contains more information. See, now you can see that better. He's right there. Let me get back to the original is this. Hold on, not that. That's the original, but you can change the contrast. That's really about all you want to do on this stuff. So that's what it would look like if you brighten it up a little bit. And you can see there's no blood here, so. Man, that's just crazy. I think if light was hitting his eyes, you would have seen him when he was standing there back in the background. But without that, the balaclava and his face are similar, you know. Well, this is night vision, so not sure how that plays. As long as I think if it has the same tone, I'm not sure what the word is, that it sort of appears the same. Like if it has the same reflective value, you might have a yellow and a white that have, or not white, like a yellow and a blue that are the same brightness and might look exactly the same on a night vision camera. Okay, all right, Charlene. Okay. The Panzer V 511 men's tactile pro rip top cargo pants. Yeah, how do we know that? Yeah, I don't think this person is the. I don't know. I don't have a feeling like this is a son-in-law. The only involvement that I think, if there is a son-in-law involvement, would be that this was orchestrated behind the scenes by him. But man, who knows, right? It's weird. I wonder why he has that fist that he makes there. Kind of a strange deal. It's weird. He's testing it. See, this almost seems like this person is just there. You know? I mean, why is he, like, going up to the door, testing it, blocking the light? It's almost like he doesn't know what the situation's going to be. The way he's acting. But he's definitely prepared. I mean, you're talking about gloves, a full, you know, I mean, the clothing he's wearing might even actually hold a, like a hair fiber or some sort, so maybe something got transferred in there. I mean, yeah, the robbery gone wrong theory kind of, you know, again, he's in there for 40-something minutes. That's what we were talking about last night. That the robbery gone wrong also has an element of sort of something that makes sense, is that for 41 minutes, we have the camera disconnected, and then 2:28, she's been removed. But then, if a robbery went wrong, why'd they leave her there? It could be that he may have, I mean, unfortunately, he could have shot her in there. Except that would make a noise, but maybe given the neighborhood, it's kind of far away. And he knew that if he left the bullet in there, it might lead back to him. So he took her. You know, that's something we've talked about before. Are we arguing in chat, you guys? Jeez. We're all on the same team, you guys. We're all on the same team. Unless you're a troll. And then you're not. They don't give a damn about the what happens in cases. They just pretend they do and then go and attack people. Yeah, you think so? That could be something. Yeah, took her out of there. Why wouldn't he just say, give me your card and give me your code? Something like that. I mean, by the way, let's do a poll here. I got a question. I mean, we only see one person. I guess I should have said, is there more than one perp? I don't know. Maybe R. That's a hard one. Oh man. Everybody's got it all dialed in. What exactly pair of pants he's wearing. What makes you guys think that you can see a label or anything? I mean, that's a decent shot, but it's from the back, and I know, but why do we need to look it up? Okay, I mean, there's about 100,000 pair of pants that would match that. You know, the backpack might have stuff. It's weird how full the backpack is. Maybe he has a change of clothes or something in there. Something to change into after he does what he does. But he probably has tools they would use somehow to break into the house. Maybe there's stuff in there to tie somebody up. Maybe there's, you know. I mean, 41 minutes has been something that's been very, very strange. The kidnapping for ransom, the 41 minutes in the house doesn't make sense. You know, that's one of the things that we've talked about. But it's something you just can go, well, who knows? I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, I think his car is probably just parked, you know, it might be off to the side, but eventually they're planning on moving it forward to then take her. So here's what I would say. Okay, what's the this part right here is done early on where they remove the front camera. Why would you do that unless you were planning on abducting her? Why would you do that? I mean, see, the thing is, it seems like you're blocking that because they don't want you to see, you know, what's happening and have her being taken out of the house. See, I think that part is interesting. Other than that, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just go steal whatever you're going to steal or whatever? And they, at this point, when this light was taken off, they knew that they were going to be taking her from the house, it seems like, right? Well, how about this? They go in the back door and they do something to Nancy in there because they're just trying to rob the house, and she wakes up. And then after they actually do something, they, gravely injure her. And they're like, okay, so this is maybe after they'd already been in the house. He comes around, but why wouldn't you just open the door and just reach? I don't know. This seems like this is early. This guy looks fresh, doesn't he? I mean, like, stuff hasn't happened yet. I don't know if it was in his pocket or not. I mean, there is a bulge over there. You know, but it could be a gun. We just don't know. Could be a cell phone, a really thick cell phone. I mean, we don't know. I think this picture here, I don't know if they're talking about it on Fox News or anybody. They don't really notice a lot of stuff. This right here is where the backpack was. And so this is a picture that is out of sequence. We don't know when this was. And I'm pretty sure that those lights over there, I mean, obviously they're not a car, but there should be a house right over there, and there it is, right over here. And so it's picking up light from that house right off the front door. And it's actually downhill to the driveway, I think. Yeah, see how it's up? So the only light they're going to get is going to be from that house over there. Whoa, Jesus. Nah. Yeah. Doesn't look like anybody. Let's see, and there's no camera near the house. Yeah, there's camera out here. There's two in the back, I think. Two cameras. You know, maybe they have other video like this. Hopefully Kash Patel puts out more. Here, I'll turn off this and play it, my audio, so I can eat a bite of my apple. Getting dizzy. Now we can bring this in and try to zoom in on things if we want. That one's one of the more interesting images. He does not have his backpack on, and at least the gun is covered at this point by the jacket. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think this is the son-in-law. Yep, Honey Chris. He's got the light in his mouth on that one. I think he has it in there the whole time. Is that what criminals do, Steve? Put it in there and they bite it to turn it on or off. Yeah, Amazon. It's a pretty intimidating place to put a gun, right? It's almost like you want it to be seen once you're in the house. I mean, you only put a gun there in the middle of the night. I mean, I don't even know what... This is not concealed whatsoever. Maybe you can carry guns like that over there, but... I mean, that is really just... Arizona might be... You can have a holster or something. But, man, that's... Ah. I felt like I could almost see in some one of those. You can almost see where the eye holes were, maybe like that. I already had it. Okay. That's the original photo. Look like that. Oh, man. Okay. So let's see what they were saying over here. The FBI released surveillance photo and videos of a potential subject. Let's see what they have. Huh. Kash Patel posted 6 black and white photos and 3 video clips on X as the search for today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother stretched into a 10th day. I'm sure I spelled. Yeah, there it is. I spelled his name C-A-S. Like Benjamin's. Hey, thanks, C-Con. Honestly, no one breaks down a crime scene like Gray. Hey, thank you. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that one and this one, they're separated in time. I think that's what, you know what I think? I think there's a car off to the side over here. He walks up, he takes a glance, and he walks away. And this is the closest he got to the camera on that instance. So he walks up, he stops right there. That's why they're releasing this one, because that was the closest he came to the camera on the segment that they've got. And right here, he turns around and walks back into the darkness. Then the next shot you see is him coming back with his backpack, the gun in the front. He's ready to go now. He doesn't know what he's doing with the camera. Then he takes the grass and places it on the camera, hoping that that does something to block the video. And then that doesn't work, so obviously eventually he disconnects the camera itself. And then he goes around to the back of the house, and then they break in through the back. But that must mean that they know that they're going to eventually be taking Nancy out the front. So when they got there, they knew. I think what this video sequence and everything shows us that this perpetrator, it's not a burglary gone wrong. It feels like they knew that they were going to be taking Nancy out the front door before they even went into the house. Because if after this they go around and break in, you might ask yourself, why did you turn off the camera when you're still wearing the same clothing? There's no reason that you needed to disconnect the camera if you've got all these face coverings and everything. I don't know. It's pretty weird. I mean, why did you do that? You stood right next to it. You had your mask on and everything, and you're disconnecting it. What would be the difference later? So that means they knew that something is coming out this front door later, right? Something that they don't want on camera. It just seems, I mean, can you give me a different explanation? Why would you go to the front door? Why not just go out the back door? I mean, in the back door, break in, do what you're doing, and at the end, take her out and put her in the car. Let's say this. If you weren't going to bring out Nancy, just eliminate Nancy from the story. If you're going into the house, let's say she was on vacation. If you're going into this house to, okay, here we're going to go like this. Nancy is on vacation. This is an empty house. This guy goes over to the house, and he's crystal clear with the front of his body, you know, with the mask on and everything, goes up to the camera, and he's trying to block the view. But then breaks into the house through the back. And if you're trying to steal stuff, why wouldn't you just then go out the front? You know? I mean, it's the back of you. You know, you just go out the front. If that's where you needed to go out. But it seems like you would actually go out the back, you know, park the car back by the garage over there, and take all the stuff that you were going to steal out that way. But it might be difficult, perhaps, to get a body out from there because of just the way there's a fence there and stuff like that. So they knew that they were going to be taking something out the front here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's it. And what is it right? What's right here? There's a gate right there? This is kind of like a key spot. I might have the helicopter. Let me see if we can look at that again. What do you guys think about what I'm trying to say here? What's the point of going to the front door to get rid of those cameras? unless you knew you were taking something out there. See, it could be that this portion here is not negotiable with her body. You couldn't, there's no way to do it the way, it couldn't unlock something or whatever. So you would pull up right there and then boom, you take her out, right? But if you go over here, I mean, you couldn't go there because you couldn't get her out. But let's say you even could get her out that way. You'd have to, you could have a car parked there, but maybe they felt like they couldn't get her, negotiate her out to here. So then you go over there and you make sure that this one doesn't have a camera on it. Yeah, the garage. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have the clicker, didn't know where the clicker was. Or, you know, walking around inside. There is that interesting, those interesting images from the first day that I have. Yeah, see, you notice how this case always has something that can contradict what you're thinking? It's just the weirdest. It's unreal. Oh, man. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so there's a gate there. Maybe they just weren't able to get through that. I don't know. Maybe they must have, though, because they might be easy to climb over it to break in, but then they weren't able to get her out the same way. So they unlocked the front. I always thought this was interesting, though. I don't know if this is connected, but those are, you got these tires that are parked really deep into the, it must have rained or something right there. And then there's other tire tracks right there. It looks like a car came around maybe and then turned sharply where maybe, but that would put, I mean, we don't know where the car stopped. There's a whole set of tracks there. And we don't even know if those are from that night, but these ones are interesting. Those are at the garage door. Yeah? You think he, after removing the camera, rang the doorbell, and she came to the doorbell? Well, here's a thought. He has the mask on his face, and he knows he's going to be taking his mask off in a minute to trick Nancy into opening the door because she knows this person. Rings the doorbell. She comes over, and he's got his normal face, and he's like, "Hey, I left something here after, or whatever, And she opens the door and then is attacked. Again, he couldn't have the camera on because it would show his face at that point. Wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, we're just trying to throw out ideas, like things that might be. So it goes up to the front door. And I mean, I'm working through the version of the story where people think that they knocked on the door. Okay. So let's say walks up to the front door. Knocks on it. After dismantling the camera, it didn't work with the brush and whatnot. And the reason he's incapacitating the camera is because he's going to be going through the door, but he needs to take his mask off for Nancy to come to the door. Like you pound on, hey, and she opens the door. But then why is it, Jesus, the back door is unlocked, or not unlocked, it's been broken into, all right? So how does that fit in? Well, maybe that was a ruse to make it look like it was a burglary gone wrong, but it was actually a hired hit, or a hit of some sort. Anyways, that would be the other camera. What? Pray, take out the camera, take off mask, and not. I just said that. I just said the exact same thing. You don't need to repeat the exact sentences. Let's see. I think that is when it happened. Didn't ring bell. Well, then why would she go out the front door? Yeah. What? She's got a gold tooth. He had to know he needed a key. Yeah, it definitely has facial hair. See, it shows you how clear they've got video that's really much clearer than what we have. I'm going to record this again. This one, it looks like they brightened up on their own. Hey, Lily, don't name people in here, and can somebody remove that comment, please? Thanks. On this one, you can see a mustache right here. See that? That's not a shadow. That's a mustache. And the reason you know that is right there, there's that little, you know, that part on your, right above your lip. All right, here we go. We got this one. And there's the gun right here. Holster right in the front. And I think this is one that this is before what we just saw. Because the camera apparently was disconnected at some point. And it's obviously after this, because it's working right here. I think this is when he went and checked, kind of looked, and then he went back, got the backpack, the gun placed in the front, then he went in. And then he disconnected that camera. And then apparently he broke in through the back door. Now, you can't add color to a black and white unless I had a daylight shot of the house. Then you could have... Yeah, people who pretend to do that are just absolute idiots, you know. Hey, I'm going to use AI and colorize it. This is night vision. You can't reverse engineer it to color. So if you see anybody on YouTube colorizing this, they're full of shit. They're just trying to get views, likes, and subs. Alright, let's see. Now they're putting the grass on there. Because he was like, hey, maybe I can cover the camera with this grass. I didn't even know there was a camera. Wow, ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, every time that Cash Patel shows up, we get to see more stuff, though. Gotta like that. This is very odd. Almost seemed like he's trying to avoid height detection going through that arch. Because right there, if he was standing up, you'd be able to tell how far he was from the... Yeah, it doesn't seem like she would open the door, but if it was somebody you knew, might say, "Hey, I left something here." She might open it. I don't. That's just. I'm just throwing it out there as that's what other people are saying. You know, I could see. I don't think it's very likely, but you know, you can see stuff like that. It seems like they're trying to just get rid of the camera because they're going to be going through the back door and eventually taking something out the front that they don't want on camera, which seems like that's going to be Nancy. It seems like they went here knowing. I mean, the guy's got a gun, right? So it seems like they're going there knowing that they're going to. I think they're there to kill Nancy. Actually, I think it's a hired hit, and the whole ransom thing was a ruse to get people looking in the wrong direction. That's what my opinion is. They've enhanced this one. They've enhanced all of these. No, there's no timestamps. That's the part that's frustrating. This is some video that they recovered. You know, it wasn't really. It was like I can't remember the terminology they used, but it was. Let's see if there's any articles on it now. All right. They have arrested the first ransom guy, though. Yeah, right. The first ransom guy was arrested. In case he picks up any voices, like Nancy yelling out Mama name. Huh, that's an interesting idea there. No fear. Let's see, we got, where was that? They got rid of the camera in case it picks up any voices, like Nancy yelling out a name, or even their voice, right? I mean, them saying something. It's pretty interesting. I just don't, you know, if they were going to kill her, well, she was obviously still alive when she was taken out that front door. If that is how they took her out. Yeah, well, I think the ransom was just a red herring. You may have gone in there. It's a hired hit of some sort. Just paid to do this. Yeah, you guys, if you're out there and you like the content on my channel, if you guys could help support the channel, that would be fantastic. It helps keep me on YouTube, and it also helps us. We donate thousands of dollars every single month from ad revenue and every single source of income that comes in. And we just gave $500 to RAIN last night, which is violence against women. You know, very appropriate in this case. Hey, Gray, did you see what the ransom guy wrote to Annie? And yeah, I saw TMZ had one portion on there. Waiting on our end for the transfer. I'm asking him, as they got the ransom. Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. Why ask them if they got the ransom? I don't know. I don't know what that. Not sure what you're saying. I saw something on TMZ. TMZ released some of what was on the message. I think I actually have that. No? Come on, you guys. Let's get the support up for the channel today. That'd be great. Let's see. Look at the arrest of this person from California in the affidavit. What? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Amanda. You just random sentence out of nowhere. What affidavit? What affidavit are you talking about? Jesus. Guys, type better sentences. I don't know what you're saying. If you're trying to get me to react to something, put something that I can see and understand. Why do you think she was definitely alive? Because she coughed on the ground. That's why. There's expirated blood spatter with the drips of blood. She definitely coughed or sneezed or something with blood in her mouth. Right there. Nah, you don't love the coverage at all. No, you're actually a troll. We know you. Okay, so good luck. Such a loser. See ya. Thanks, Jen. That was like the first time I like the second time I asked for support on the channel the entire show. So STFU. Okay. Hey, thanks, Jen, and thanks, Nikki. Nikki, I was about to say Nikki Yo, but thank you, Nikki. It says thank you for your coverage on this. And then Nikki said there's a lot of underground bunkers in Tucson. I hope FBI are checking them out. For what? Bunkers, underground. No, don't forget the tunnels. I bet there's a tunnel that goes right underneath their house. Was arrested for texting Annie and husband asking if they got the Bitcoin. Okay. Yep. She means probable cause affidavit for CA. Okay. Who's CA? I don't want to. If you want to send me the link, I'll look at it. Here's my email. Send it. Then why put CA instead of the guy's name for the affidavit? Why California? You guys are just... Look at when somebody's doing a show, try to be, when you're typing something in, precise and concise so it's easy to go do something. Or send me a email and say, here, Gray, here is this. When you say something that's really nebulous, like, I mean, just sort of a vague reference to something, it just literally just it puts everything into a complete stall. Okay, so is this the Bitcoin guy right here? This guy? Is that him? The guy that the fake ransom? Well, did he shave or something? Or? And that's the direction you would go. What you might want to do is look him up and see if you can find pictures of him if he had a beard or something. Because it looks like he's somebody that could grow a beard quickly and then he could have shaved it off. So I don't know if he looks like him or not. How do we know what anybody looks like this guy? You know, I mean, who knows? That's the thing. We have no idea. You can look at these pictures and pretend that it looks like him, but there's no way to know. Right, they would have already had him. They could probably tell that he was nowhere near anywhere. I don't think it's him. No, you can't tell. It's his eyes. The eyes are blown out with the white. Come on, you guys. Please, we don't do that on this channel, okay? There's nothing in that indicates that that's the same person. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Nothing looks similar. You just look at it and go, yeah, you know, now if he had a weird scar on right below the eye that you could somehow make out, you know, maybe that would mean something. No, the eyebrows aren't. There's no for sure anything. Do you think it's only one person in the video or two? I think it's one person, yeah. You're on the wrong channel if you want sensationalism. We don't do it. We just try to work through the data, the facts. We use logic, reason, common sense. I'm not going to pretend somebody is something, especially when you can only see a tiny little hole for the eyes and a tiny little hole for the mouth. Yes, it looks like he has a mustache on underneath there. That's for sure. But other than that, you can't put a side-by-side up and say, now look, there's this thing with the... I'm never watching again. Alright, see ya. That was for you, Bruce. That was for you, buddy. It's the same one. Not saying it's not that guy, but there's no way in the hell you can claim it's him by looking at this. Alright, there you go. That's all I can tell you. No, I've never heard anything about something missing. Got the light in his mouth. Looking at the camera, trying to cover it up with some debris. He's using his, slowly putting his fist on the camera. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Or he might be using it to kind of block. But you can definitely see a mustache right there. That's not a shadow. So he's probably... Well, it's hard to say what his age is. Looks dark, but if it was just like dark gray, it would look like that. Hey, now Fox News is doing what we did, using Brian Enton's video, showing the debris on the ground there, and we're always one step ahead of those guys. What's in the... I wasn't talking to you, Amanda. What made you think I was talking to you? I haven't even seen any of your comments. How many days has it been now? Right, what's in the affidavit, though, that we need to look at? I think I have it. somewhere. I thought I downloaded it. Oh, God. Some idiot made a color picture? Oh, boy. Whew. Wow. That's scary. Somebody sent me a hey, here's a color picture. Well, but it's not. Go see. Look how stupid this is. See, this is what I'm talking about, you guys. This right here is garbage. This is complete nonsensical BS garbage. All right. Don't send me that shit. It's just somebody using AI saying, "Hey, colorize this and make it look like." It's stupid. Alright, somebody finally sent me the... Alright, here it is. On or about February 4th, 2026, defendant Derek Kayaya or something like that, with the intent to transmit a demand for ransom, did transmit in interstate or foreign commerce any communication containing and demand or request for a ransom. On or about February 4th, defendant Derek is in interstate or foreign communication made a telephone call and utilized telecommunication device, whether or not conversation or communication ensues without disclosing his identity and with intent to abuse, threaten, or harass any specific person in violation. Huh, I wonder what he did there. Ooh. That's it? That's what you wanted me to see? Whew. Wow. Earth-shattering. Thanks, Kim, for sending that.
We are at an hour of desperation.
What do you mean? I just read it. I just read it. What are you talking about, Amanda? Keep reading what? I don't know what you're saying, okay? You got to type everything in one paragraph because I only read. I can't see everybody's comments, all right? You're being rude. You know, I've already explained it to you. That's all I got in the affidavit. There isn't any extra in it. Maybe if I click on it. Oh, I see. Okay, let me download it. There was another page in there, or 2 pages. Right, let's see. I'm just not sure why the affidavit means anything. They've already determined he was a scammer, a fake. Yeah, see, it's a not attended church. They still have that in here. See that? On about February 4th, 2026, shortly after the video was published, AC and TC, the daughter and son-in-law of Nancy Guthrie, both separated. I almost want to say Nancy Grace. NG is what everybody uses for that. Both separately received a text message from the following phone number. Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the 0552 number was associated with a voice over internet protocol text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. Yeah, you get all the psycho trolls do shit like that. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the 0552 number based on the records provided by 0552 number was registered to the following email address. Derek Kayaya. The records also indicated that, I mean, what an idiot for using his just a regular email too. The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been accessed from the following IP address. At approximately 6:02 p.m. on February 4th, law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request to the internet provider for the 103 IP address and determined that the address was associated with him. After Miranda warnings, Kaye admitted to sending the 2 text messages. He admitted to using the VoIP account, voice over IP, from which 2 actual text messages came from. He stated that he pulled family information from a cyber website and that he had been following along and watching TV. This is exactly what you would think. I don't know. What are we going to get out of that? What do we need out of that one? Okay, yeah. Why are you telling me where I need to be going? And so I don't really understand. Yeah, I don't think that guy has anything to do with anything. They got it. They caught that guy. Yeah, I don't think he's related to anything. I'm going to play this. I'm going to go use the restroom. So you can just watch this. What's going on? Let's go see what they're saying out there. God, that's just crazy, you know? I'm not sure what else to say. I think this is a hired hit, and all of the ransom stuff is just totally bogus. I don't think this guy went out and went, ooh, now I'm gonna do. My thing is I don't know why. You know, maybe the body was removed so that, like a family member wouldn't have to see a dead body. You know, another one. Right. I mean, the flower, he seemed totally unprepared for the doorbell. It was just kind of ad hoc, you know, just sort of, hey, oh, how about this? Let's put some of these, this hay on it. Maybe that'll cover it. These flowers. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, crap, that didn't work. Hey, I'll remove the camera. That sounds good. And then he goes around the back door, breaks in to the house, knowing that something's coming out this front door later. And that, yeah, and that, he doesn't want that on camera. And that image right there on the screen is where he doesn't have a backpack on, nor is the gun in the same position. So I think that's first. I think that's the very first video is that one. He comes to the house, looks, turns around, walks back, then gets his backpack, and then puts the gun in front. Maybe the gun was in the backpack. Maybe it was in his pocket. Don't know. Hey, thanks, Matthew Price. Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Why not just put a piece of duct tape on there? Yeah, you need the stamps. I don't have them, so I'm guessing. Is that okay? I'm basing what I'm saying off of just sort of logic and reason. Right? Logic would tell you that the backpack and the gun are go time. The other shot, logic would tell you, this one right here, he doesn't have that yet. I think this right here, this is what I think is happening here. There's a video with this image, that this image came from. That he came from the darkness, he stood there, looked at the front door, and then he turns around and walks the other direction again. Moments later, he comes back with the gun, the backpack, and he's ready to go now. That's what I would say. All right, I doubt that it's sort of after the fact, you know. That makes no sense. Doesn't that make sense to you guys? Who doesn't that make sense to? Let's see if Cash has any new stuff going on. See, these idiots are on Twitter are literally putting faces of people next to the images released. Yeah, it's just so irresponsible, you know. Oh, it's the band member. It's the band member, you guys. Look, it's the band member. Who knows, you know? Who knows? Not saying it's not, but to put it out there before you actually know is very reckless. You know, you could at least, you don't need to put their face. You can refer to somebody. Okay, so the FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and or arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. New images released today show an armed individual. Well, of course he has arms. But don't we all have arms? Oh, you mean a gun. That's from the... You guys ever see Reno 911? That spoof live law enforcement show. That was this. I remember in one episode they go to a restaurant. I've brought this up on my show before. They go to a restaurant, fast food at night, and the lady in there that serves the food she passed a note to the officers, and it said, "There's 2 armed men in here." And they looked at each other and they go, "Of course they've got arms." They just drove away. It was freaking awesome. All right. Yeah, when I guess here, though, it's based on information. It's not just, oh, willy-nilly. We use logic, reason, common sense, and we speculate based on the facts of a case. That's it. So here's the new poster. Look at that. The president encourages any American across the country with any knowledge of this suspect to please call the FBI, who continue. I mean, you know, here's what does suck. I mean, the fact that this is really a famous person's daughter, that's why we have this incredible, you know, the president, the FBI is all around. But why can't you do the same thing every once in a while for a random person that has similar circumstances? Make it big for those people too. Why does it matter that, you know, that's the thing.
Footage from FBI, and I apologize for the delay. I was once again with the president. He and I were both reviewing the newly released surveillance footage from FBI in the Savannah Guthrie case on just this heartbreaking situation with respect to her mother. The president encourages any American across the country with any knowledge of this suspect.
I mean, imagine if they did the same thing for example, Sebastian Rogers when he went missing. The same level of just...
Please call the FBI, who continue to assist state and local authorities who are leading this investigation on the ground. And once again, I will reiterate that the prayers of this entire White House are with Savannah and her family at this time. And we hope this person is found soon and that her mother is brought home safely. I apologize for the delay. I was once again with the president.
I think these are all the same. Hope they release another piece of information. That'd be good.
I were both reviewing the newly released surveillance footage from FBI in the Savannah Guthrie case on just this heartbreaking.
All right, let's see. Authorities have been working around the clock to find Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie. As the search for the 84-year-old stretches... Okay, forget it. Over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners. FBI Director Kash Patel said in a statement to E! News to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. In the newly released footage, so that's interesting, if they removed the device, it still would have had to be sort of in a cloud area for them to have received it, I guess. In the newly released footage, an individual wearing ski mask over their head along with a backpack and gloves can be seen approaching the front door before going back to pick a plant out of the garden and then returning to the camera, appearing to hit it with their fist. I don't know. I didn't see him hit anything. He slowly moved it over there. Shortly after the footage was released, Savannah, who has continued to release periodic statements alongside her sibling Annie Guthrie and Cameron Guthrie, shared still screenshots of the security footage on Instagram, writing in her caption, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home." The Today anchor quickly followed up with the footage itself in a separate post and call out for the FBI tip line. "Someone out there recognizes this person," she wrote. "We believe she is still out there. Bring her home." Since Nancy was reported missing February 1st, authorities have maintained they have not yet identified a suspect. Well, there you go. They have a suspect, they haven't identified him. And while the FBI confirmed it was investigating a possible ransom note that had been reported on a local Arizona outlet February 3rd, they have said in previous statements they were not aware of any continued communication. Right. So it seems like they believe that the original ones were real. On February 9th, Savannah issued a solo video statement. I don't know. You guys, they didn't really explain it in here. All right, let's see what their expert says over here. And thanks everybody in here for your, stuff that you contribute
to a critical moment in our state's water security.
To what we're observing.
I took a helicopter tour with the governor.
We're taking action to make sure we're avoiding that.
Weeknights are the best with Fox 10 News, starting at 4.
Let's get right to it, Matt. You're looking at this doorbell cam video, your specialty. You are an expert in this field. Breakdown, first of all, because we have a lot of people asking, how are we finally able to access this? What is this manner of residual data that we were able to get into?
Residual
and also, what are we
interesting.
seeing in this doorbell cam footage that could potentially lead to this suspect or suspects?
Well, first of all, the camera, as I understand it, did not have a subscription model attached to it. And therefore, without a model, there is no data being stored because the Ring cameras don't store
Right, so
video
how was
data
there
on
anything?
the actual device. I'm going to assume that the way they were able to pull the video is there is residual footage that they use to cache prior to uploading in order to make sure they can rebuild the image, if you will. So if they did not have the camera and they were able to rebuild this footage from it, I'm going to assume that Nest assisted them in filling out the data from that cache and then reproducing this video. If they were able to have the physical camera on board on the camera, is a cache that would be able to give them, moments of video. So one of those two ways had to have happened in order to give them the video that you're showing me.
Let's talk about this because people, I think, put these cameras up and they have what they think is kind of a sense of security, knowing that these cameras are there. But you mentioned without that subscription, you're not being able to keep that video. And that was, I guess, a big stumbling block in this particular case.
Yeah, so maybe it still uploads on the internet, but then it just stores it, but your subscription is what puts it onto the cloud for you to see.
Case with Nancy Guthrie, because in her particular case,
But
they
how come
did
it
not have that subscription.
didn't just keep writing over, and there's these little clips that they still have. Is that like full clips too? It's pretty weird.
So they weren't easily able to access basically the cloud to get that video down, right?
Yeah, 100% accurate. We never recommend that you store your data in the cloud as a standalone. We would use cloud as a backup for redundancy purposes, but you should always have physical storage. And the doorbell cameras that are out there now, including the one we manufacture, has data on board. And it also should tie back to what we call an NVR, a network video recorder that is located on site that would give you elongated periods of time in which to store that data.
Yeah.
But having the data only in the cloud, even if they had a subscription, which they did not, I believe, you still take large chances of the data ever reaching the cloud, because if you did not have a Wi-Fi connectivity, or if this person did have a scrambler in their backpack and they killed the Wi-Fi signal, even if they had a subscription, the data would not have made it to the cloud. So twofold, one, don't use the cloud as a mainstay. Use it as redundancy, if anything. And two, make sure you have all your storage on site.
So they sell so many cameras that you can purchase online, fairly, I guess, cheap, right? They're not super expensive.
Yeah. What do you mean you're You're skeptical about the veracity of this video. Are you kidding me? You think this is fake? It's not a real video that they... Come on, Christopher. Let's not do the Charlie Kirk situation, all right? Jesus, I think this is totally legit. This is a real video here. It's happened. They know what date it came from and everything. Not sure if this was mentioned, but he seems to be talking, gesturing to someone after he picks up the plants. Really? I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean there, Christopher. I don't think he was gesturing to anybody. He just looked over there. Well, no, Christopher is a normal person in here. I just don't know what he's talking about. Oh, maybe he's goofing around, being sarcastic. I get it. Hey, thanks, hamsters.
Cameras, you can connect them to your phone, where you could watch that data back on your phone. I know different cameras have different, different ways to watch the video, but how long will some of these last? Are these reliable ways to be able to store your footage and keep it?
In my opinion, absolutely not. You want hard data. You want it on a hard drive or a solid state drive. You do not want to rely on the cloud. You know, doorbell cameras are kind of misconstrued. They're really for presence alerts. A package got delivered. I want to check on my door. Real surveillance is not a doorbell camera.
How come Fox News has they have an image that's got the design of the balaclava on it? How the hell did they get that? What the hell are you guys doing? Well, I guess it does have that on there. Never mind. What the heck? Hey, Bakalula! Jesus, thank you so much. Very kind. Look at that, man. 20 memberships. Look at all these people. Welcome all the new freaks out there. Consider staying a channel member afterwards. We have some very inexpensive options. You get, I think it's only $1.99 a month to have all the different emojis, etc. Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing that that exists. That they were able to, it's on a particular date, and that the Nest company must have these cache files that would have been uploaded for view, but they weren't, and they just sit there. Man, it's wild.
Camera may be an accompaniment to a surveillance system, but a real surveillance system would have caught that perpetrator pulling in the driveway. They would have had a car if they would have had one. They would have seen him walk up the driveway if he walked around the home. You should have total coverage of your property, whether it's a home or a business. And a doorbell camera is more for a convenience. You want to be notified when something's delivered, somebody rings your doorbell, you don't want to answer the door without seeing there. They have a place, but definitely not as a mainstay for your security.
Let's talk about if folks really want to bolster security, and I think a lot of people are talking about security in the wake of...
I don't really care about that. Yeah, let's see this. This looks pretty clear. Wow, let me record this stuff. This is better. Yeah, it's really clear. Thank you, Sarah. And then this is just after that, him trying to put the grass onto the camera, cover it. I guess it's repeating that again. I bet when law enforcement finally got this, they were just like, what the hell? But it's funny, I said, originally I said, the person probably wore
Jamie, you see these pictures,
a face mask and went to the front door and removed the... it almost looked kind of like my mind was picturing what he looked like. It's just creepy to see it, you know. That's too bad he didn't have his face exposed, but he probably thought there'd be some recording of him right before he removed the camera, and that's exactly what he was correct. Law enforcement was able to retrieve it. So jeez.
HBO Max is available on...
Yeah. Let me see if Daily Mail has anything. Huh. Yeah, there's an article on... Alright, here we go. Terrifying masked figure in latex gloves with gun. Seen. As of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. A gun inside the holster appears to be clipped into the individual, and a penlight seems to be in their mouth. The suspect is seen ripping the camera from its holder. We don't see that on the door frame. It was missing by the time sheriff deputies arrived that morning. We don't see him ripping anything. It's weird how these people write stuff that just isn't reality. Seems like they got a better copy. Yep, that's where the camera was. A subsequent video. I think people aren't talking about the most important image that much. Well, it's not the most important. It's just one of the outlier images, the one where he doesn't have his backpack on. It's not more important than the others. It just, I think it shows a timeline. So likely the time frame on what we're looking at here is around 147 on these videos. However, the one where he's by himself without the backpack is probably, you know, 140 or something. Or, you know, I mean, who knows? It's before that, though. That one. They obviously have a video in this one they haven't released yet. Feminine. I don't get feminine vibe at all out of that. Never even crossed my mind. Hope they can get footage from the solar camera. Yeah. Well, there's another camera too that's in front of the front of the building. So I think there's a camera right here. There's one back here, and then there's one here, and maybe there's some other ones that we aren't aware of. No, what do you mean? There's no way the dude has a mustache. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What? Manicured eyebrows? What the hell are you talking about? You guys are. And somebody else up there said, no way the dude has a mustache. What do you mean? What's going on in here? This is crazy. I mean, my eyebrows look pretty good, and I've never touched them. But what was the one that they set up there? Right. I mean, it's pretty lame, but that's not what we're talking about. Right. So someone says, no way he has a mustache. That's completely bogus. And by the way, how can you say there's no way that he has a mustache? Using that verbiage. It's ridiculous. But we often get ridiculous stuff here. Over here, you can actually make out that it looks like he might even have some on the bottom there. Yeah, right there. See? You can't tell that that's a mustache underneath there. That's the upper lip. There's the opening. Right there. It's not a shadow. It's nothing like that. Nah, it's not the flashlight. The flashlight doesn't look like that. Jesus. My God. Can you not see what I'm looking at right here? You don't think that that's a mustache? That's even the space. You know, above your lip, how there's that little piece of skin, you know, that kind of, on guys, it goes up in the middle there. That's exactly where that is. Let's see. Gray. Oh my goodness, Gray. It's the way we talk here in Australia, as it's no way that's right, no way he is a female. Oh, that's how you talk in Australia? I don't know, how would I know that? That's exactly the opposite of what we would say. Oh, you're saying maybe put a comma if you went, no way, that's a mustache, meaning that's a guy, right? Is that what you're saying? Coastal Hampton style? I see. I get it. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, it would help if you put a comma in there, or went no way, exclamation point, and then after that say, he's got a mustache. But instead it was no way he has a mustache. So over here we'd say, no way, we'd say, there's no way that's a mustache. You know, like that. I get it now. Maybe that's what Zozo was saying. Yeah, I'm sure he's shaved. But I think that's absolutely a mustache in there. And that part right, let me see. I mean, I don't know if my face looks like it. But, you know, like right here, right above right above the lip right there, there's a, if you shaved it tighter up in there, there's a space. Like right in that, right up above your lip. That's right there. See? Oh, you can't see it because I'm on the screen still. Yeah, right up here. See that? Right there. That's right, a demonstration. Except mine's mangy right now. I gotta... Oh, okay, I don't think he has a feminine look. But hey, you can think what you want. Hey, let's see. It's weird how much space is right in there, isn't it? It's like an alien. It's a big space right there. Although it looks like the mask is shifted slightly over to the right because there's no space on that side. So maybe his nose is right in here. So you think that that's like these really sharp eyebrows right there? Like a really manicured eyebrow? You must have more video than they're releasing, because some of these frame images aren't really in... Let's see. I'm going backwards. Okay, that's, they do have that one. Yeah, I don't know what to make of the eyebrows in that one. Do you think this might be a female altogether, or just some guy that seems female-like? I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's a guy. I mean, he's got a mustache. Is there anyone in the family that resembles this guy? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say if anybody resembles him, just because he's got, you know, the clothing on, the backpack. I haven't seen, you know, the son-in-law has a beard and everything and a mustache, but I don't, you know, doesn't look exactly the same to me. And nor can we see it. We just see a little bit of a mustache That's it. We can't tell who this person is. Another one, huh? Eloquent Pirate says a different home invasion involving 2 California teenagers linked to a $66 million cryptocurrency plot occurred in Scottsdale the same day Nancy went missing, which has caused public confusion. You don't think they're... I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem... I don't know where we're at here, you guys. This is so... I just think it's more likely that it was a home... It was a hired hit of some sort, and then the whole part related to the ransom was just a red herring, and it might not even have been them. It just could have been... I mean, think about it like this. Pretend that there was no ransom note sent to anybody of any kind. Right? What if we look at it like that? Let's pretend that all of the ransom stuff was completely bogus and not a red herring. It just was some other people trying to capitalize. They seem to think was the person, but then you've got a case where there's this guy who... But then, I mean, I guess the part that's going to be confusing, if that's the case, that it's some random person, but that's why it seems like it's a hired hit, and the whole crypto ransom thing is unrelated. And he went in there, and his mission was to kill Nancy Guthrie. That's why he went there, and that's why he took out the camera at the front door. He goes through the back door, goes inside the house, knowing that eventually he's going to go out the front door, didn't want that on camera, and took her body out to a vehicle and took off. Doesn't that just sort of make sense? But then you wonder, well, why was there 41 minutes inside the home? What were they doing? And I guess in reality, we don't know. If you, let's say, remove the camera, we know that the people were on site for 41 minutes, at least. So we don't know if they removed the camera from the front door and then went and did something else for a little bit, preparing, sat around, and then entered the house at 2:10 or something. And then, oh, look at that, 2:12, they show up, there's movement in there. And then she's out of the house by 2:28. It could be a smaller window of the time that they were actually in the house compared to actually being there. I know, we already said all that on the show. There's no reason, if the part that's strange is that we already said all that at the beginning of the show, Zozo, about the part about, why would he need to remove the camera if he's so covered up? It seems to me that part of the plan was to remove Nancy from the front door and wanted to make sure that that camera was not working. Right? And so that would mean that that was part of the plot, and maybe that it was going to be a hired hit and remove her from the property. And maybe that was so that the daughter, some other family member wouldn't have to see the body there. Yeah. What about the cameras that were in the house? Well, he apparently, that'd be interesting if they have that footage too in the same way, right? They're just showing the front door footage, so we now can assume that the camera at 2:12 might have have the same cached information. I didn't say it was, Lisa. See, look at now. Because people mentioned that, we got Lisa in here saying, it's not a female, Gray, stop. I never said it was, fool. I never once said it. In fact, I argued against it. Everybody knows that I was watching. God, you're stupid. Let's see. Let's go. Where are we going? Yeah, so he removed the camera because they're going to be removing the body out the front door. And that's why they removed it. Because he was already protected visually. He walked right up to the camera. He knew that that portion, he didn't realize that the bill wasn't paid. He knew that that portion was going to be on the footage. You know, he knew that walking up to the... So why would he care later if the same level of revelation of his body was shown later on the camera? That means something else is going to be happening. Oh, God. Here we get the trolls. Yeah. Don't need the trolls. No, they said, it's not a female, Gray. Stop it. You missed the comment, you guys. You missed the comment. I never said it was a female. You know, there are just these people that come in here, they try to create the issues, and then they want their little buddies to make the little follow-up comments. Yes, that's what you're going to get from me. It's not a female, Gray. Stop it. Of course, it was hidden. It wasn't allowed into the chat, so you probably couldn't see it and follow up what I was saying. Right. They probably wanted to pull the car up into the little driveway there. They didn't want that on camera either. And they also probably didn't want her being removed on the camera, even though it'd be obvious at that point. So mean. Come on. There's no way. That wasn't mean at all. It was rude as hell for that person to type that in. I think this wine is dead for sure. The wine? Lady and wine? How does a typo fill in that? So then it would make sense that they are taking her back out the front door where she was bleeding. Right, they took her out the front because she was attacked inside, but they wanted it was quicker. There's a fence, I think, that was probably locked on the side of the house that we showed earlier. Right here. And if they didn't want to break through this fence here, I guess it might have been loud. You have to keep kicking it, you know. And so they decided that they would take her out the front of the house. And maybe they climbed over the fence to break into this door here. There's a floodlight right there that was broken. And maybe they did that so that this camera here wouldn't see them. Although there's night vision on these, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't want to see the photo in color. If anybody sends me the photo in color again, I'm blocking. Alright, we've already seen the garbage that people put out like that. It's absolute nuts and not real and stupid. Alright? It's not helpful. It's absolute garbage. I mean, it's just... Look at this. This is not valuable at all. This whole thing here. Somebody put this in ChatGPT and said, colorize. And then it comes up with its own look and stuff. It's just, it's absolute nonsense. Oh, that's cool. I like to see that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, right. That's why they make them, because people get excited about it. Yeah, let's see. Oh, cool. So somebody just sent me this. This is Lisa Brown just sent me this. This is interesting. New blood droplets were discovered on the porch of Nancy Guthrie's home, according to law enforcement. The blood trail went from the front entrance of the home to the edge of the driveway. Ah, ha, ha. That's exactly what I said, man. I told you guys. I told you. And Brian Enton said, no, it stopped right there. And I said, well, maybe it went into the gravel. And I think it was, I was talking to Ashley Banfield about it, and she said, well, he's pretty good at observing that. I go, I don't know, gravel's pretty hard to see stuff like that. And there it is. And see, that's in the gravel. And what does it mean? Is this today? When was this post put here? Yeah. Authorities have confirmed the blood belongs to Guthrie. Law enforcement has not released details about the extent of the injuries. Yeah, see that right there? That is the sort of gravelly looking driveway. That's exactly what I said. You know, I said I bet you it goes right there. So that means, now that that's a real thing, you can get rid of any thought that there was a fight at the front door after somebody knocked on it. Okay? That didn't happen. Because what we have now is blood going all the way down, and then there was a waiting car here, and that's why they took the camera out. That makes 100%. That's why they took the camera out. That's it. Okay? They took the camera out because they were going to take her through the front door, and they were going to park their car down here. And in fact, I bet you that one of those images now is exactly what I said on the original shows when we were discussing it. Right here, that this mark on the ground here is associated with her being removed and put into that vehicle. That's what I was looking at. Remember that first shows we did? Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. Yeah, he said he tried to look. He didn't look hard. He didn't look hard. He wouldn't be able, he didn't spend the time looking. He was just really focused on, you want to get the image out really quick. Look what I got, look at it. You know, you you just have to really, take a little bit more time than just casually, oh, look, there's no blood here. You got to spend the time. All right. It was obvious. That one picture, it's really clear. It's right there, right? And it went all the way to the edge of the patio inside there. So it was kind of like, well, how come it wouldn't continue? Why would she be all the way out there? And so what we can get from all of this, using logic, reason, and common sense, is that that she was injured inside the house, and then right around 2:28, she's still alive as she's outside on the patio, because the blood that's on the patio is expirated blood, but she might be, grievously injured at that time, right? But she's still alive. She coughed up blood there, and they probably were. And guess what? Her head was close to the ground when she did that. So they might have been dragging her face down, all the way down. But I don't know. I don't see drag marks or anything like that. It seems like that would have messed up the blood pattern. So it could just be that she sort of bent over and was coughing, something like that. They're holding her up. Yeah, I like Brian Enton. I just think sometimes to get the media, the news out so quickly, it'll just sort of avoid putting pieces together, That's right, right. Garrett, I bet you there's a completely different conversations going on different YouTube channels. I bet they're doing side-by-side comparisons of a person that's completely unidentifiable inside of a balaclava with actual people. I bet you that's happening. How come a lot of these comments are being held for review that are just simple? You know what I mean? They're going door to door in Annie's neighborhood. Right now? I mean, why is that one hidden? What do you think, 8675309? Shouldn't they be able to get a car getting out of the neighborhood? Right. I mean, I've been saying that there's cameras all over on the main streets. All they have to do is figure out the time frame, and there's Fox News was saying what I said for 2 years, or not 2 years, two or 3 days, at least that. I think it was even before I went on my trip, about the surveillance camera and how to track it, and there would be very few cars moving around in this neighborhood in that time frame from 2:15 to 3 o'clock in the morning. Very few cars, and all you have to do is find any car you can and then track it backwards. And if you find one that's coming out of that neighborhood around a time frame, that's probably going to be your suspect vehicle. Even if it's, what you do is you see it through the lights so lights oftentimes will set off motion on cameras. So if your camera is offset like hers, for example, if there was a car on the road, it'd probably still pick it up as it was coming. And it might not be a full vehicle, but at least the lights of the vehicle, just like in the Idaho 4 case. You remember that? How you could see the headlights turning on top of a building way over there? All that stuff matters. So in this one, you would just find any motion on any camera of a car driving and then work backwards or forward and then try to get to a place where we have a camera footage of the vehicle of interest. That's how you would do it. Well, I don't know, Zozo. Maybe he does have. Maybe there. I don't know. Let's go back to the original photos. Let's see. Well, let's try to help Zozo out. Let's see. Do we see? I mean, the eyebrows look thin at the bottom, but maybe there's much more to it at the top. I mean, look at my eyebrows, for God's sakes. Don't they look manicured? They're so perfect. Look at that. Unbelievable. Never touched them. Yeah, right there. So you think there's like long eyelashes, really thin eyebrow? I'm not sure if what we're looking at right there with that. I think it just might be an optical illusion. There is thickness of the balaclava, and maybe that is a slight shadow underneath that little portion there. And then the eyebrows might be up in here. But that is, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's all say that it looks feminine eyes and eyebrows for Zozo. Okay. Yeah, that could be covering it. Let's look at like a standard face. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's just look at a random picture like that. That one didn't work. Let me go back. Front face male. Yeah, I guess it just sort of depends. You know, like if you look at somebody like that, the eye and the eyebrows would start right where this is. They'd start right underneath there. Right where you see the shadow is where an eyebrow would start. And a lot of times they go off, so they go straight that way like this one. I don't know. I just don't think we have enough information in this. It's probably a pretty thick balaclava. So mean. All right, guys, if you're out there and you can help support the channel, maybe buy some channel memberships for people, that would be cool. See right there, he's got the camera or the flashlight in his mouth, and he's kind of blinking it on and off as he picks that up. Yeah, he definitely doesn't have like a huge nose or anything. But you can see it right there. Looks back to the, okay. So right there is the best profile you're going to get with the balaclava on and his nose. So it's kind of a, seems like a flatter sort of nose. It's not a Brian Koberger nose. If it was Koberger, you would have seen that coming a mile away. In fact, that's all you would see in the video is his nose pressing it against the camera, and we wouldn't see a human being whatsoever. Shortly followed by his eyebrows. All right. See, there it is right there. Looks like the nose doesn't look like a huge nose on him. See that? And notice how you can barely see. That's because he's far enough where the night vision can pick up the lights of his eyes there. And that's, but look how little the holes and everything look. That's why that one shot you can't see anything, because he's in the darkness outside of the entrance. And the light's not hitting the eyes. So these are totally different time frames. But right here, he's looking through the side windows, as somebody pointed out earlier. Yeah, maybe that's it. They're trimming the eyebrows. That's weird. I think that brightness on there is I'm creating that artifact. Yeah, maybe not. Nice, he got light. That's just the reflector, I think. Those things on the side of his backpack there. They're reflecting light, so it's really bright. Or maybe, I don't know. Do you guys think those are lights? These little things here? Little dim lights? I didn't really think about that. But now that you see them in that one shot, they look like they're illuminated, not just something like a reflector almost. Yeah. That's getting, but it's interesting though. If there's no light, there must be some light on that porch right there. Yeah, I just said probably a reflector. Yeah. Are you on rewind? Top secret. It's whatever lit up his eyes are also lighting up the reflectors. Yeah, so that's the remnants of the plant that he tried to put on the camera. Then later on in the evening, Nancy's blood is here all the way out. And these are feet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least you're 6 feet away from the door. And I knew that. I just thought it was more likely that it kept going. But apparently, there's blood. Let's see. Come on, what's going on? There's the Amazon package. There's the Amazon package. Hey, thanks, Tracy Van Brott. I was trying to find the same pattern over here. It's not clear enough though. Might be at the edge of the driveway too. They don't really tell us. They knew her, that's why he was this calm. I don't know, or it's just late at night and he knows it's a single lady there. He looked through the side window, didn't see her, and just figured she was out cold sleeping. He didn't seem to know this very well. You don't think that the fact that he's doesn't have it planned out what to do with the camera, he goes there and he starts to try to put some plant on there? You know what's something we don't know right now? I don't know where the camera was at 212, but isn't that interesting that there isn't other motion on a camera between 147 and 212? What, I mean, they could have been in that house, went through the back, and were in that house even before. I mean, you could look at it like even before. Let's just see if it makes sense. Let's say they got into the house at 1:30. And they did whatever they were doing. Then they realized that they can't get her body out, take her out the back because of, her. You can't get her over that fence because maybe they couldn't figure out how to get through the gate without making a loud noise. So one of them goes back out again and then, gets rid of the camera and unlocks the front door. Maybe they never were going to be near the front door, and then they unlock the front door. Or not unlock the door, they get rid of the camera, and then from inside they open the door and then take her out. I mean, it's weird how we don't really know. We see him here removing the camera, disconnecting the camera at 147. But there's that other image where obviously they were there prior to that. So there's a much different time frame that's possible here. It might even be that they finally entered the house after preparing. Let's say outside they broke the light. They, did all this. They even sort of started jimming the lock or whatever. But they get into the house, and at 2:12 there's a motion detected. So how do we know that that's not actually the time that they finally entered the home, and it's much quicker once entering the home? That all this stuff is prep work. And they get into the home maybe around 2:12. And then they exit, and her monitor stops, her pacemaker stops connecting to her phone at 2:28. So maybe the window inside the home is only 2:12 to 2:28. That would make more sense than having somebody sort of lingering around inside the home. I could see spending more time outside the house, you know, trying to, you know, make sure that the doorbell is disconnected, do some more surveillance, etc. Check to see if there's any movement. I guess we'd have to know what camera it was that detected a motion. No, I don't. Let me just say this. I'm not going to be looking at any pictures of anybody and trying to compare the person to this person, because we can't see this person. They're inside, their head is inside of a balaclava. Okay? So let's not all pretend that we can look up names. Now, don't put names of people in the chat here. Might be that person, might be those people. But my experience covering these cases over the years, the people who put these names out there are never right. I mean, I would say, when I say never, maybe it's not never, but it's 1 in 1,000. I mean, 1 in 50,000. You guys are just, it's just sick.
You ask them, hey, do you recognize the person in this picture? Well, it's easy to say, no, I don't recognize that.
So they're going door to door in Annie's neighborhood, you guys. So I think Ashley Banfield was on it. You know, had the right information from the beginning. I think it's going to be a family member, and this person might be a friend of the family member. And, you know, maybe the people you guys keep mentioning over and over and over and over and over again are people that are in a band or something. I don't know. This guy, I think this is a person that was hired to go do this. And if it's not hired, then it literally is somebody she knows. And, you know, the whole, I guess, here's the weird part of this. Like, why did she need to be removed from the home? Regardless, unless you left something, you felt like you were leaving something on her forensically. I don't want to look at the band, no. You know that we don't do that over here. Yeah. We're going to start putting pictures of people on the screen. You can look at it on the side, sure, yeah. The backpack has reflectors, yeah. Oh boy, here's steams galore. Yeah. I know. It's like, why did she need to be removed if it was a hired hit? I mean, I guess you could say that maybe a family member wouldn't want another family member to stumble upon a dead body in the house. Something like that. Because remember they had to go over there to see if she's, you know, what's going on, because she didn't. So the whole thing with the church now has been figured out, right? So apparently, you know what's funny is this person in chat, he said, I told you she went to a different church. It's not the same thing, man. That's not what you were saying. You were saying that she physically was supposed to go to another church. So anyways, in this case, Nancy and a bunch of her friends would watch the church services of her daughter Savannah's church in New York. They have a live stream. So they would all watch that stream at different homes, and they would rotate around, and she didn't show up to watch the stream on, I think the first, she didn't watch it. And so one of the person's home that she was supposed to go to called the family and said, hey, your mom didn't show up. And that's how it came about. So it's sort of like there's correct information all around. Yeah, on Fox News right now is showing that they're going door to door in Tucson and collecting surveillance footage, etc. I mean, I don't know if they're collecting surveillance. They're asking people if they saw anything. They're interviewing, canvassing the area again. Okay, so that's the... So there's nothing nefarious about, you know, that element, that the family was called and they went out there. You know, had they not really been called, which people thought because she never even went to church, and you can't tell if you're there, but then you could see if you were in the chatting, but it turns out they would do these little group watches together. You know, I don't know if it was 4 or 5 of them, whatever, different homes in the area watching a live stream. Well, I mean, you know, Zozo and I had looked into the family, you know, the daughter and son-in-law since the very first day on the side, and we didn't say anything about it on the show, but Ashley Banfield then said a source that she had brought him up, so then it was like, okay, wow, so that suspicious feeling that we had was real. Maybe. I guess we still don't know at this point, right? But the fact that they're over in Annie's neighborhood going around, it kind of has the this case to me is starting to have the Breitigan feel to it. Sort of an orchestrated event and all culminating back somewhere else that's related to the victim. God, you guys are just... Man. Who knows, man? Maybe it is a band member. You guys ever seen the Jared Breitigan case? He had this... It's kind of a big case out there. He had his wife and him didn't get along, so they sort of shared custody, and they had, I think, 3 kids of their own. No, 2 kids of their own, I think. And then but he had a new child with his new wife. And he would do the same routine every single time. So he brings home the 2 children that he was seeing. And then, just as he's driving down the street, not too far from her house, a tire is in the road, and then he gets out to move the tire and then is executed on the road. And I said, there have to have been 3 people, like one would have to call somebody else, and then a watcher down the street knowing, okay, here comes his car, and then you put the tire out, and then he gets out and you shoot. Because you wouldn't want to put the tire out at a time of night where other cars might be driving. You'd have to know that the car that was coming was his car, then they put the tire down and shot, and it turns out, boom, it was all absolutely correct. And it turns out, you know, his ex-wife's new husband, and some other lackey, whatever the hell you want to call him, they've all been arrested and charged in conspiracy, etc. That was 3 or 4 years ago. I did all kinds of cool... I was on Court TV for that one, too. Don Lemon, jeez. Wouldn't shock me, man. Yeah, yes, it would. Yeah, you shouldn't be watching those other ones. Yeah, we already know that. Two's right. We just said that. They've been going door to door in the Annie Guthrie neighborhood. I'm not sure what that means. What does that mean, Christine? What's going on now? Yeah, it's going on now, yeah. They're going door to door in Annie's neighborhood. Just like it looks when people go door to door. There's officers going to each door. There's nothing breaking news. Nothing's going to happen while you're filming the people at the door. I was gone for a while. Sorry, must have missed you saying that. Right. It was just a few minutes ago. And you were gone for a while because you weren't watching this channel. But that's okay, you know. People do whatever they do. It's just nothing breaking news. It's normal. That's what normally happens, right? But anyways, I think I'm going to take off for now. Maybe come back on later this evening. All right. Thanks to Timothy Cecil, Susie Clue, John Mama, AJ Felt, User, Marine Co, then Virgo Alex, Gifted 5, PJ Rocker, Christy B, Jareth King, Eric Murphy, Miss Giss, 73 months. Charlie Ann, then we had Daniela B, Paul Ayers, Papa Squatch, Gloria Batari gifted a membership. Then we had Wild Flowers, Samantha B, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, Charlotte Denny, Betty Black, Bruce Holdaway, and Timothy Cecil gifted one. Then Paulina Buckles, SBA, and then Julie Nicole, C-Con, Jen, Nikki, Kimberger, SBA, Susan Kirkland, Top Secret, you, Matthew Price, then Tampsters, UK Sarah High, then we had Tracy Van Brott gifted one, and Benjamin. You know, there was we got 100 gifted, and it's not saying on there. Hold on. Anybody who sent the 100 gifts in early? 100 earlier. It was 20. It was 20 gifted channel memberships. For some reason, it's not on my screen. I just said 20. It was $100 worth of gifted memberships. Hello? Anybody remember? Bakalula, that's right. Thank you. All right, thanks Bakalula for the 20. They didn't put it down on the I'm not sure what you call this thing. The control panel on YouTube. Sometimes those bigger ones don't show up on there. You broke the system. All right, any final thoughts in here? What are you guys thinking? That was nice. All right, anyways, thanks everybody. Hopefully something bigger is happening soon, next couple days. now either tonight or tomorrow, right? I thought something big was happening today, but I thought there was going to be an arrest made, but instead it's a video coming out. Crazy. All right, we'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Hope you guys thought the show was interesting. Sorry we get so many trolls in here. It's crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime
I
thing
need something
for
to eat,
quite a while
Zozo.
now.
I never got to
and
eat.
during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is
I don't know.
a
Man, I think this could be
crime
one.
dissector.
I think it's probably two people.
Projector. I'm a certified human lie detector.
She'd be too heavy to
Gonna
move.
get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector.
Yeah, yeah.
is
I'm a
my
troll
nectar.
mag.
Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector,
And I'm always gonna be a
protector,
fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've got the blood droplets are... I'm just watching Fox News right at the end there. The blood droplets are almost all the way to those 2 steps. That's where those droplets that we saw, they're right next to the steps that go down to the driveway, right? All right, there you go. A little piece of information right at the end. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.